So yesterday we have learned about like on change client script, on change of something, how we can uh, do few things like using get reference. Okay, and even see the example using the glide record. What are the disadvantages? Okay. So I'll let you know like how we can use the control. Okay. So here, here if you see, I have written a script on onload. Okay, where I'm checking the value of impact. I'm getting the value of impact. Okay, so how I'm getting g underscore form dot get value. The field name is impact. If the impact is equal to one, like if the impact value is one, backend value is one, then I'm getting the control. So control means here the HTML of that particular field. Okay, so then g underscore form dot get control of that particular field. We will be getting control in this particular con. Okay, so then how I have applied this background style is using con dot style dot background. Okay, it will be applying the background to that particular in that style. There will be attribute called background. I have added the background as red. Okay, so whenever if the impact is high, it will be automatically applying a red color. Similarly, you can even give other colors for others like else. So in else case, I may want other color like any other color. I can give that. For example, gold color I want to give in other cases. Like for example, I want to open this. So whenever if it is low or medium, I want this particular gold color. Okay. So usually we should use the field styles only, but apart from the back, like if you want the background color to be applied, use field styles, not this control. But you can use this control for other purposes as well. For example, on the short description field, you want, okay, so impact is high, then I want the control on the short description field. Like I want to say, uh, like instead of background color, I'll try to add this placeholder. So placeholder means which will be telling us what. So actually, I guess instead of this short description, I'll choose description because short description is already mandatory. I'll give description. So what I'll do, I'll say, please uh, enter proper description like that. Impact is high. Let me just remove this description. So we are not getting that. So let me check how we have to use a placeholder in jQuery. we should know a little bit of HTML and CSS for this. So instead of style, we should directly use a placeholder. It doesn't come under style. So that's why it is not coming. So I need to remove the style. Okay. So you should know like what are the attributes of input and what are the like HTML we will be having, right? So that you should know it. Okay. So now if I reload it, so if you see there is a placeholder, please enter the proper description. You can see, right? So this is the placeholder which we call. So this is all the attributes of HTML. These are not service now things. So whenever you want to do some kind of things which HTML provides, in those cases you have to use this particular control. Okay. Is everything clear, or should I? Is there any doubts anywhere? Did you get it?
Yeah, yes, Sundar.
Yeah. So yesterday we wrote the client script as well. So we wanted to show location and on change of assigned row. Okay, but we were, as of now, we were only able to show the email. Okay, because we were using get reference. Okay, the get reference doesn't give us all the data. It only gives the values, not the display values. So I want to use GlideAjax here. Okay, so what is GlideAjax and how we can make use of GlideAjax? And what are all the things needed in order to implement the GlideAjax? Okay, we'll know. Okay. So Ajax means asynchronous JavaScript object XML. Okay. So Ajax is a Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay, so how it works is, so it's not a concept of like, it's a concept of entire web technology. So everyone uses Ajax only. Okay, so it is it will use XML HTTP request object to communicate with servers. Okay, why it is used? So you are on the client side. You are on the client side means where you are. So whenever any user gets logs in on any incident, and whenever he changes something and there is a need of a server side data, then we will be using Ajax. Okay, so it's the use of XML HTTP request object. So whenever we want to use, okay, whenever we want to use server side data, okay, so this Ajax will send us the data in XML, and we can make use of that. Okay, so let's just see what is Ajax here. So Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So client-side development techniques are used to create asynchronous web applications. So whenever you want to get some server-side data, then we will be using Ajax. Okay, Ajax enable web application to send and retrieve the information to and from server in the background without impacting the user experience with displayed web page. So generally, before, what used to happen, whenever you want the server side data, we had to reload that particular page so that we will be getting that particular information from the database. But with the help of Ajax, what is happening? Without impacting the user experience, we can send the data to server, and we can even get the data from the server using Ajax. Okay. Whenever you want to communicate with server from the client side, you have to use Ajax. Okay. So in service now we have GlideAjax. Okay. GlideAjax is a API class which allows execution of server code from the client in service now. GlideAjax call pass parameters to the script include and using the naming conventions allows the use of this parameter. So this GlideAjax uses few parameters, okay, which in order to call any script include, so it has some naming conventions that I'll show you. Okay, so we have to initialize GlideAjax. So generally, how we use glide record, it is also similar class where it accepts. So generally, glide record accept the table name like incident or problem or any table name as a parameter. But if this GlideAjax will accept script include name which you want to use. Okay, and whatever the script include you are creating, so that script include name we should use here, and that particular script include should be client callable. Okay, I'll tell you what is mean by client callable. There will be checkbox call client, and that should be checked. And in that particular script include, we will be having some function, right? So we might need to call that function. So in order to call the function, we have to use a parameter called sysparam name, and we have to give the function which has to be called. And if you want extra parameters like some sysID or something like that, then you have to use sysparam underscore sysID, sysparam underscore caller ID, whatever the value you want to use, that you have to use it here. Okay, let's take a look at an example. Okay, so here what they are doing, they are calling a script include using GlideAjax. The hello world is a script include name, and sysparam underscore, so ga dot add param sysparam name. In this they will be using the function name. So hello world is a function name, and capital H hello world is script include name, small h hello world is function name, and here they want to pass the username. Okay, so sysparam underscore username is Bob, so they're passing the username as Bob here. Okay, and here ga.getXML is, so here we will be having getXML and getXML wait, two things. Okay, whenever you are using getXML, that is a asynchronous function, okay, which will get the value, and there will be a callback function. So what is meant by callback function is, so this ga.getXML will be calling the server to get the data in the XML format. Okay, so once the XML is ready, whatever the function defined here, hello world pass, that function it will be calling from the server. Okay, when the server data is ready, this particular function will be called with the response. Okay, that's why we have to specify the function name for asynchronous calls. Okay, I'll tell you what is mean by asynchronous and what is mean by synchronous. Everyone asks this in any of the interview. Okay, so whenever the data is ready, this particular function will be getting called with the response. So here they will be passing one parameter, which is like they will be passing the response, and we have to get that particular. So as this is in XML, we have to parse it. So how we can get in the normal JavaScript from the XML is, we have to use response XML document element get attribute of answer. So in this particular response, so the response may contains of multiple elements. So how generally the XML will look like, I'll show you. For example, an XML may look like this. Okay. So actually from the server side data will be coming as an XML. So for example, if you want to get the name of like for assignment group name, how you will be getting is XML dot incident dot assignment group dot name. Like this we'll be using, right? Similarly, in this case as well, we'll be having response dot response XML dot document element dot get attribute. So this way we will be getting, so there will be attribute. So what is mean by attribute is, so in this particular document element, so we have attribute called answer. So in that particular answer attribute we have the data. So that data we are getting in this answer. Okay. So this is the client side which will be writing in the client script. So what we have to write the code in the server side is, so here we have created a script include which extends which is client callable. So whenever you check client callable checkbox, so this particular script include will be extends from abstract Ajax processor. So what is this abstract Ajax processor is, this is another script include where we will be having few functions which will be supporting Ajax. Okay, like for example, you want to get what is the user has sent, right? So how you can get that? You have to use this get parameter function. Okay, how you can use this get parameter function? Like this get parameter function is out of the box, which is defined in abstract Ajax processor. So if you want to use these functions, you have to extend this particular script include, which is called abstract Ajax processor. Okay, only if you can extend that, then you can use these particular things like this dot get parameter. So this dot get parameter, then you have to use what is that particular variable value you want. So here they have passed username. So we'll be getting what is the username they have passed. And other things like if you see hello world is a script include name and hello world is a function name. So the script include name is where hello world is class.create, right? That is a script include name, and the function name is here hello world colon function. And what is the value they are passing here? They are passing sysparam username, which is Bob. So with the same user, with the same parameter name, we have to use this dot get parameter of sysparam username. Okay. Is there any doubt still here? Any doubts?
No, sir. Sunil, what is the one by private function is there, right? What if I where is it?
Could you please repeat?
Private function is there, right? What is the use of that?
Let me just do. So they have written some private function. So it is just to tell that like if there is any private function that is not callable from client. Okay, function name starting with underscore will be considered as private, and those we won't be using in order to call from client. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So whenever, so generally normal functions will be giving directly the name, right? So the private function means this particular function we want to use within this particular script include itself. We don't want to call it from somewhere else. In those cases, we'll be declaring private functions. Those private functions won't be callable from the client. Okay. So first I'll show you by executing this. Then we can do some modifications in that, and then we can actually get get an requirement, and then we can do something. I'll show you. Okay. So if you see, there is one ServiceNow blog where he had written about how this particular GlideAjax works. Okay. So unless you are a web developer who has been on Ajax, so they will know like what is Ajax means. Like if you are a web developer, you already might know what is Ajax means. Okay. But GlideAjax can be little bit confusing. So we'll see how we can check it. Okay. So first how this particular thing will be working. So first we will be having client script. Okay. So client script on change of something. If you write GlideAjax, there will be one thing which is called XML HTTP processor. Okay, which will be calling that particular abstract Ajax processor. So what is abstract Ajax processor? Which is getting extended in script include, which we have written, right? So in order to reach that, this particular process is there. So it will be reaching to the script include through this XML processor. Okay, which is extending this particular script include, which is extending from abstract Ajax processor. So once it reaches script include, it will be doing all the server side transactions. Okay. So it will be doing all the server side transactions like a glide record or something. Then it will return the data. Okay. And once it returns the data, it will be calling the callback function and it will be running that. Okay. So I'll show you an example. Then we can use, okay. So like we wanted location, right? So first let me create a script include here and a function. Okay. So I'm creating a new script include. Script include name is, as of now I'm using Ajax utils. This is script include name. So if I, after giving the name, if I click here, I'm getting normal script include, which doesn't extend anything. Okay, which is normal script include. Okay, where it has created some class, and here we can write some function. But whenever you check client callable, okay, whenever you check client callable, you are getting some other code which is extending abstract Ajax processor. Okay, this is another script include which handles the Ajax processor. Okay. Okay. This particular script include will have all the necessary functions like get parameter or new item or a process. All these will be, we can use this here. Okay. So if you see in the documentation, they have said we should not use this sysparam value, sysparam type, sysparam chars. Why? Because these are using already here. Like if you see in the documentation, so apart from these sysparam name, sysparam function, sysparam value, and sysparam type, you can use anything. Okay, like sysparam username or sysparam sysid or sysparam caller ID, like that you have to use. You don't use this. Why? Because these all are getting used here. Okay, so let's go here. So this is extended from abstract Ajax processor. So this is a client side scripting loop. So now let's create a function in the scripting loop. So how we'll be creating the function in a scripting loop? So here we have to give the function name. So as of now we want location. Get user location is the function name which I want to create. Okay, and then the function. So here, as of now, I just created this particular function. So after this giving the function, you have to separate it each function with the comma. Okay, you can have another function, and you have to after this brackets you have to give comma. Okay, to differentiate between these functions. So let me save it. As of now, I am not writing any code. I have just created the function so that I can call it from client script. Okay. So here I want the location. I don't want to use get reference. So I want to remove this particular code. Okay. So I want to use GlideAjax. Okay. So I'm just using new GlideAjax. GlideAjax accept script include name. If you see, it accepts script include name, which is a string. String means double quotes. And what is the script include name? You can pass script include name like this. If it is in other scope, you have to use this particular API name. Better to use it with API name. So now GA dot add param. Okay, add param will add the parameter to the request which or read in script include, which is used to invoke a function in script include. So here I have to use sysparam name. Sysparam name is a function name. Get user location. Dot add param. So like here we have to use sysparam name I have used. I have to use another thing which I want to pass. I want to pass assign to sysparam, assign to like assign to sysid or something like that. So this particular sysparam will be constant. After sysparam, whatever the value you want to pass, you have to use that particular name. Here I want to pass the assign to. Okay. So assign to, and what is the value of assign to? I have stored in this particular variable. So I am using that particular value. So now I want to use g.getXML. Okay. So if you see getXML makes an asynchronous call to the server, on completion invokes a callback function with a response object as an argument. So if you don't know about anything, you have to every time if you don't know what that function does, you can read it so that you will know what is that particular function is doing. Then only you can make use of it. So here you might not be completely aware what getXML does. So what it does an asynchronous call to the server, and on completion of that invokes a callback function with a response. Okay, so here callback function name I want to give show location. Okay, so here the function will be show location, and here I'll be getting some response. So here the parameter they will be passing the whatever the parameter name, it is your wish, you can give for any of the function. If you are defining a function, then you can give any name to these parameters. Okay, these will be getting passed like first parameter, second parameter, like that from wherever they are getting passed. Okay, wherever you are defining a function, you can give any name, and with that name you have to use it in that particular function. So as of now, I'm just checking whether I'm able to get the response or not. Okay, and let me save it, and from here I want to return just say hi. I don't all the processing I'll do it later, but as of now I'm just returning hi here in order to check whether everything syntax is properly it is there or not, and is it working or not. Okay, so on the incident, when this particular client script will be running on change of assigned to field. Okay, let me refresh so that I can load all the client scripts. And so it is better to inspect whenever you are inspect, right click, inspect, go to the console and check what is happening. So let me empty this console, clear this console, and now let me try to assign some element. So on click of it, some asynchronous call got already triggered, but after clicking here, I got some sysID of assigned to, and it got triggered. So here, if you see, object is a type of XML HTTP request I got. Okay. So in the alert, I got some object which is a type of XML HTTP request I got. Okay. So I got some response, but I need to convert it to normal object. I have to pass that. So what is the syntax for it? If you see here, this whenever you see this red warning and GlideAjax get XML synchronous or asynchronous, that means some calls are going in the background. So and we are using get XML, but here some other thing, some other processor might be using get XML wait. Okay. So what is the syntax in order to parse that? So we have to use response dot response XML dot document dot element dot get attribute. Okay. There is that here. So here I have, they were using the response parameter, but I am using just res. So I want to get the value from res. So I have to use res, and I am storing the value from whichever the answer attribute. So whenever you return some value from the script include, the value will be stored in the answer attribute. Okay, by default. Okay, and now I want to wait. So now let's check whether we are able to get the value or not. Let me refresh. I'm getting null. actually I should get high, but I'm getting null. That means something might be, some issue might be there. Okay, let's check what is the issue. So I want to remove this alert first. This is not needed now. Let me try again. It should work actually. I'm getting null. Let me try removing this global. It shouldn't issue created add param. This param name. Param assigned to location. Client followable and it is returning smile. But here we are getting nothing. So there might be some issue. So add param is PARAM and this param is PARM underscore name. Global shouldn't be an issue. This param. Okay, so if you check here, the value which how we should pass is sys underscore. So I have used sys underscore param underscore name, but actually the param name is sys param name. So we shouldn't use sys underscore here. It is sys param underscore name. Okay. In that way we have to pass. That's why it's not working. So whenever you are not sure, you can just copy paste that and you can change later. Okay. So as there is an underscore, it is not able to read the value. And okay, let me save it now. So now let me open any incident. And change assign to. So I got high. Can you see it? Yeah. So I got high, right? So now, so I want user's location here. So first let me check whether I'm able to like first let me get the value which they are sending. So I'm getting assigned to sysID. So how I can get it here? I have to use assign to equals to this dot get. So I am creating a variable here in order to get the parameter. So this dot get parameter. In this I have to give the this param assigned to, because I'm passing the value using sysparam assigned to itself. Okay. So once I get it, so here I have to use this assigned to sysID and get that particular user record, and from that particular user record I have to get the location. So so on the incident I got this particular assigned to sysid here in the server side script. So I want this entire user record. So whenever we want entire user record from the sysid, what we'll do, we can use glide record and get the value, whichever the value we want. Okay. So here I want to use glide record of user. So user table name is sys underscore user gr dot add query. So we have the sysid of that particular user. So I want to query with this assigned to. Okay. User dot query. So if we get any record, user dot next. Then I want the location. Okay, I want to store the location somewhere here. Like let me create location variable so that I can use it outside whenever I'm returning that. So I want to just create a location variable outside. And in this location variable, I want to store the value of the location. So we can use user gr.location dot get display value so that we'll be getting the display, what is getting displayed there. And let me return this location and check whether on the client side I'm able to get the location. Okay. So now, so what I'm doing, so I have the sysid of assigned to user. So I'm gliding with sysid field with whatever the actual sysid of the user. Okay, and then I'm storing the location by creating the variable outside. Why? Because I can use outside this if. So, and I'm returning that particular location, and let's check whether I'm able to get that particular location of that particular user. So table tutor, if I select, I'm getting the location which is SHS some quadra 5. If you want to verify, you can go here and check what is the location of that user. So location is with display value is SSS Balco E Barcelona. Brasilia. It's something Brasilia. So the same thing which we are getting there as well. So it's working. Like we can get any value like that. Okay. We can even dot walk into the location. We can even get the country code and other details as well, like this. Okay, using this particular GlideAjax. Okay, so this is asynchronous way. So whenever you are using getXML, that is an asynchronous. If you are using getXML way, that is a synchronous. I'll tell you when we use synchronous and when we use asynchronous, and what is the difference between those tomorrow. So is there any doubts in the till now? Is there any doubts? So we can even pass multiple parameters, like apart from assigned to, if you want to pass multiple parameters, you can use the same add param, sys param, like any other variable name, comma the value. Are there any doubts here?
No, Sunil.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil.